What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to United View. Welcome to the morning view. Happy bank holiday. Happy Easter Friday. Big up to you guys celebrating it. I am in my household. Got all the family coming around. Going to be frying up some fish, some snapper. Me and Owen was discussing this yesterday about exactly what that is and what's going to be happening and what it tastes like. And
I was going in on a lot of about fish. To no one's surprise, I'm a big fan of fish, you know what I mean? Don't really.
Yeah.
My theory wasn't it, that all fish smells and tastes exactly the same. And Flex was driving at the time and he got very angry. I thought he was going to slam the brakes on the car. What?
Yeah, you can't say that.
Not only a stop, a handbrake pull up as well. What? Done.
I'm like, nah. You can't be disrespecting the fish thing like that. But yes, so shout out anyone having fish in their household. If you are Caribbean, you will definitely be doing that. I've got the ackee and salt fish downstairs as well. Got to cook that up later. Got the hardo bread. You know what I'm saying? We have to chop up some onions and some peppers and Scotch bonnet and all them things.
What that was as well, didn't you?
Yeah, hardo bread. Owen didn't know what that was as well.
I literally thought when he said it, he said hardo, and I went, "Oh, the dough's quite hard." Then.
And then I just went
hard dough. That makes sense.
I said Hovis, Warburton's, just have a bit of bread and butter. I just said bread and butter in the end because there's no point. But we have got a morning show to do before we get to the Good Friday-ness. Well, I will anyway. And a lot of you at home, so big up to you guys. This Alexis Mac Allister story I thought was very, very interesting. Alexis Mac Allister transfer battle. This was coming from a reporter, an outlet over there in Argentina. Owen, I know we'll get to you in a sec. I thought this was really interesting, and I actually want to talk about Alexis Mac Allister because one thing is talking about players when you haven't seen them play in real life, no big sample size. I think Brighton are doing great things, so we're all tuning into Brighton to see what they're doing. So we see him in the Premier League, we're aware of him. But the World Cup was really when I got a good eye opener into him as well. So let's go with what we have and why this is even a thing, and the context of this. What's going on? What's the story?
Yes, so as you mentioned, this comes from a journalist based out in Argentina who is saying that out of Manchester United, Arsenal and Liverpool, 2 of the 3 clubs are already advancing to try and buy Alexis Mac Allister in the summer. The price that is being talked about is £61 million. Manchester United's interest in Mac Allister is absolutely confirmed. Arsenal and Liverpool have also confirmed interest. This is a really interesting one. We were chatting just before we went live, weren't we, Flex, about Mac Allister. And my question was, not that he'd replace anyone or not that he would be like a backup, to anyone or anything like that. But what player that we already have in our squad would you say he's of that mold, or he would play in that position, or he would play in that role? Would it be like a Bruno? Would it be a Christian Eriksen? Or would it be a bit of a different role?
Could be all 3. I think the reason why he's that good, the reason why he's a good potential signing for me is because of he can play all of those positions. I think at Brighton, we see him playing the 10 behind Danny Welbeck, plays just off the front. He's brilliant there. So we can play in Bruno's position. In the World Cup, I saw him play on the left-hand side quite comfortably, going at defenders, really clever. So he could play instead of Marcus Rashford, or, if Rashford goes somewhere else or squad, whatever. We're not talking about who he is going to replace. We're just talking about where he can fit in our team, right? So he can play on the left. There were other games where Argentina went with like a 4-3-3 because a lot of the games I went to watch them, they changed their formation quite a few times to suit whatever game it was. They were a really adaptable outfit in the World Cup. I was really impressed with them in the end. And he can play in the 3-man midfield. He was sort of left of a 3-man midfield that had Rodrigo de Paul and Enzo Fernandez in it. So he literally can play in an 8 quite comfortably. He can play in a 10. And we've got enough evidence to say he can play on the left as well. So I think he's a really, really good player. And in obviously going to the World Cup and following Argentina like I did, he didn't play against Saudi Arabia when they lost. And I was jumping up and down with the Saudis. What a time, by the way. What a time.
You were the ultimate.
That's where the whole "where is Messi" thing happened. That was,
my goodness me.
100%.
In that one,
brilliant.
You were supporting Saudi Arabia, Morocco.
Oh, yeah.
Japan as well.
All the underdogs, mate. Underdog FC. I was supporting Ghana against Portugal at one stage, and then Ghana against Uruguay when the Suarez. Listen, don't take me back to the World
The
Cup.
video of you dancing, I can't remember who it's with, but it's before the game. It might be the Morocco fans before the game, and we played it on one of the morning views. Is you're fully in there, stepping, beating a drum.
Oh, mate, bro, the World Cup, yeah, honestly, it's the most fun I've ever had. It was unbelievable. Believe me, I was actually looking at players as well. I was doing the vibes and that and having
You
fun.
were,
But
yeah.
because I went to so many games. It was just like literally as much as I humanly could by watching 90 minutes as well. So
and like you said, it's the first time for people, a bit like Alexis Mac Allister, it's the first time where on a semi-regular basis you can say, yeah, I watched him play 90 minutes in person like 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean?
Easily,
I've got a proper look.
Exactly. And that's the alternative look, because we see him in the Premier League. We can watch Brighton, or when he's played against us, we can have a look and say how good he is. But it was good to see him in a different capacity and playing a variety of positions. And actually, I think if we did, we don't know if we're definitely going to get him. Of course not. No. Arsenal looking at him, Liverpool looking at him. If we did, I think it would be a massive indication as to where Erik ten Hag wants this team to be and how he wants it to play, because he's not a player who's going to get you 20 goals, assists, 20 goals and assists. He's not going to get double figures in both of them. Does take the penalties, to be fair, but I feel like he's a player that actually has a really high technical ability, and in our team we just don't have it. We lack it so much, and I would love to see us go that side of the coin as well. So yeah, we want the shooters, we want Harry Kane, or we want Victor Osimhen, we want all these type of players, but we need, like I said, in midfield, we need players who are press resistant. We need players who can progress the ball. We need players who are brilliant on the ball. We need players who are brave on the ball, and he's got a great engine and he's adaptable. So I think it would be a really good signing. Not one that maybe if you view your football in a different type of way, you might be a bit underwhelmed by it. But trust me, man, he is a proper good player. And what I'd say is this: some of your favorite players, if we got him for big money, some of your favorite players, including mine, some of your favorite players might not play as much as we think if he came. Because I think it would be a big outlay, and it would be a real sign of intent of where Erik ten Hag wants this team to go.
You play on more often than you think. I agree. And I think, like you said, I think it's more of a statement of the profile of player. And I don't mean in terms of reputation or something like that. I mean in terms of his technical ability. It's that kind of player that I think Erik ten Hag is looking for. We've spoken about it, haven't we? Particularly in the last couple of weeks with people like Eriksen and Casemiro miss him. Is that, and not to say that Mac Allister would be this backup player. And, he's only going to play when Eriksen and Casemiro are injured. No, not the case. It's more so that, okay, what options have you got? All of your options should be somewhat technically proficient, or they should be somewhat of a similar mold or have the same principles of play about them. And our principles in our terms of our midfielders or our more attacking options, they're so varied and so different. And you do need a bit of variety because you need different options during the game. But for instance, again, bringing in a McTominay, his deficiencies, and they don't line up with the principles of play that Erik ten Hag really wants from his midfielders. It's square pegs and round holes, right? We don't want that. We want all of our players to fit in. They want to fit. That's basically what we want. And again, I see this, and I think it's an interesting one. I think that he might be available come the summer as well. I think that there might have been, because sometimes when you win a World Cup and there's been interest and all that kind of stuff, they can reach a bit of an agreement.
They wanted to keep him, but exactly.
Come the summer, I'm gonna go, or you're gonna let me go come the summer. Yes, but also as well when it comes to Brighton, look, that depends on what they do this season. They're having an excellent season, and I'm sure they won't want it all just to fall apart. I mean, they've got De Zerbi, and who knows what's going to happen with him. He was linked with some big jobs, and they've got people like Mac Allister, who again is going to be looking elsewhere. But where are they in the table? 6th, Brighton, something like that at the moment.
Yeah.
And they don't look like they're showing any signs of slowing down, really. So it could be a situation where they're not in the Champions League, but they're in, say, the Europa League next season. And he might be like, actually, you know what? I'll stick around for another year. I'll see where this goes. That's a possibility as well. I mean, I see Liverpool linked to him as of right now. If the season ended tomorrow, Liverpool wouldn't be in European competition at all next season.
No, according to Liverpool fans, it was sure that they were going to get Bellingham 100%. Oh, even if we are in the Conference League, we'll still get Bellingham. Oh yeah. Now they're starting to worry about even getting in the top 4. So, which is going to be difficult for them to do, by the way. Yeah, look, what was the quoted price from that article? Was it like 61 million or something? 62
It was 61 million pounds.
61 million pounds, which for him, first of all, you got to look at who you're buying from. Let's get that out of the way. It's Brighton.
Premier League.
So Premier League, and it's Brighton. Like, there's Premier League, and then there's also the way that Brighton move. Cucurella, Ben White, didn't sell Casado because they didn't get the 70.
Cucurella, by the way, how much did they get for him? 70 in the end.
But I think it was about
check.
It was 70. I thought it was 60
whatever it was.
60 odd is too much.
It was whatever it was.
And Cucurella is not a horrible player. He started to settle down recently, but nowhere near. Nowhere
worth in excess of 60 million.
Yeah, so
63.
60 odd million pounds. Crazy. So
basically the same price as Mac Allister was being quoted. And basically, who would you rather have for 60 plus million? Mac Allister or Cucurella?
Yeah, exactly. It well, depends on what you need, really. But yeah, 100%. The player you'd want is Mac Allister. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like, because 60 odd million quid, I believe that would be that. He's a World Cup winner. He's their best player, along with Casado, at Mitoma, actually, really. But he's been one of their top players, if not the best player, for a while at Brighton. He's gonna, and if they get into Europe and he keeps doing what he's doing, he might even go up from 60. It could go up to Casado money as well. 70 odd, because they wanted 70 odd million for Casado, and he'd only played like 24 Premier League games, I think, something like that. So they're not afraid of going, listen, you want one of our best players, top whack, top dollar. Yeah. It's up to you whether you pay it or not. So I think let's see how this transpires, because first of all, this is the first sort of big link we've had to him in terms of a big outlet, albeit not in this country, going with that story. Let's see what happens with any of the domestic outlets going with this story. Let's see if it just goes away and never came back. I just thought it was an interesting topic, because I actually really like Alexis Mac Allister. And he's someone that actually, I don't profess to have watched loads of players that we're linked with for 90 minutes, especially, and definitely not in person. But he's one that I actually have. And even in the World Cup, I literally thought, I was like, wow, he came in after that Saudi Arabia game and played every single one. It's almost like the coach went, I'll tell you what, right, I need to change it after that Saudi Arabia game. And he was ever present from then. So I think he's brilliant. And I think that would be a fantastic signing.
It would be an excellent signing. I think also, though, I mean, they're saying as part of this report, like I said, Liverpool, they're interested, but with Arsenal being interested, look, the situations have turned a little bit. Arsenal looking likely to win the league, and they're in that position now, Arsenal, whereby they can go through a transfer window really and just get like one signing or two signing.
Yeah,
and you could see a Mac Allister. You could see a Mac Allister fitting into how
I'd be brilliant Arsenal.
It would suit them perfectly. And look, let's be honest, whilst we are growing and there definitely is a project there, and we've won a trophy this season, it's one thing to go to a club that is growing and seemingly going places. It's another good to go to the team that's just won the league, and they have got the youngest squad in the league and a very young manager as well. And Arsenal are an attractive proposition. And also, Arsenal have pretty good ties with Brighton. They signed Trossard in January, so that dialogue is certainly there. Those things matter as well. But
try to get Casado,
Splashnet says here as well. Agent Lisandro Martinez, though, there are factors you could get involved. The point being is that he will be, if he's available, we won't be the only team. Even us in Arsenal, we will
he'll have a pick of the bunch.
Will not be the only team. Yeah,
even outside of the Premier League,
absolutely,
there will be people queuing up for the chance to buy him, because he's a really good player. It's as simple as that. He actually is a really good player. And on Arsenal, they are a very attractive proposition. Before we'd laugh at a player as a Man United kind of snobbery of like, who would choose Arsenal over us?
Yeah.
Now that is, especially if they win the league, of course players could choose Arsenal over Man United. Not all the time, not in every case, because we're still Man United. We can still pay bigger wages. I know that is a downside sometimes, but also it can be a plus side when you're trying to attract players. And it's some players are still in love with that. I'm going Man United, like it's Manchester United.
Yeah,
but success speaks as well, and selling a project speaks. And if Arsenal are Premier League champions and have smashed the league, they are going to be an attractive proposition for sure. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Happy Good Friday to you lot. United takeover latest.
Yes, so there's
What you
a,
got?
a little bit, a little piece, a little Friday, little
Yeah.
sprinkling, like you would do when
Yeah.
Flex is cooking his fish later. I'm guessing. I don't even know if that would actually happen,
I
but
wouldn't put salt, no, but I'll put some
uh,
onions on. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll let you have it.
okay.
Let you have it.
So yeah, this is coming from the Mirror saying, after months of speculation, the Glazers are finally set to negotiate a price for Manchester United with the leading bidders. Multiple bids have already been received, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani, the two front runners. Yet the 6 Glazer siblings are still split on sanctioning a full sale, with Joel and Avram happy to stay on the board and seek new investment. If the Glazers sell all of their shares, they want £6 billion. Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim and others are reluctant to match that figure as they await a response from the Rain Group. Of course, that's the merchant bank acting on the Glazers' behalf. It remains to be seen how the saga will unfold. So basically, the latest is not too much change, really, but they're looking to, or they're finally set to negotiate a price, which is, I guess, phase 3 in this, which is the previous couple bids are in. They've looked at the bids and the offers and said, well, they're probably still not what we're looking for. And there's a game of succession of all of these Glazers, siblings going, 4 want to sell, 2 want to stay. But they're willing to negotiate and say, okay, let's try and thrash out a deal. Let's try and get to this $6 billion price. Do you think they'll ever get that? Where are you feeling about this? Because obviously that has been the price since the beginning. Do you think we're ever going to get to that number? Or do you think if they do decide to do the full sale, they're going to have to relent slightly?
Yeah, the latter. I think they'll have to relent slightly. I think it'll be like, I know it's quite vague, but between 5 and 6. I think it could be like 5.5, it could be 5.6, could be 5.8, it could even be 5.3. I don't know, but I just think it'll be between 5 and 6. Because the way it's going is, look, we obviously thought, or we want it to be really simple. How much is it? Someone wants to buy it. Okay, here's the price. Here's the asking price. Sell it to me. We go home all happy. But I think we've learned over the last month or so, especially from going from a position where it was takeover city, takeover central, like every day, big powerful headlines, Bloomberg, you know what I mean, Wall Street Journal,
Bids aren't in.
domestic.
Bids are
Oh,
in.
it was boom, 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 like really, really strong. And we spoke about this a bit off air yesterday, didn't we? That actually, I think now it's gotten to the stage of like people don't speak that much. Like you used the WWE reference of how it happened. I don't know if you want to share that, but
it was very strange how it happened, basically. So obviously, the coverage of WWE in its own universe is a lot different to this, and it's not as widespread, say, as Manchester United. But basically, the same kind of thing was, the sales talks are progressing nicely, and they did a couple of interviews with like CNBC and the Wall Street Journal, and all that kind of stuff in the United States, and everything was progressing nicely. And then just over the weekend, just a story came out just literally on the Sunday and said, like, it's been sold. Tomorrow, there's going to be an announcement that it's been sold. And that's exactly what happened. And to give a bit more of insight to that as well, by all accounts, that deal wasn't complete until that weekend either. They were still going through that process. It was really when another entity, Liberty Media, came in and said, hey, we're interested in buying WWE. Liberty Media own Formula One and Sirius XM and other things around the world, until they came in and said, actually, we're interested. Then Endeavor, the group that ended up purchasing the company and merging it with the UFC, went, right, no, it's done. And then they did the deal very, very quickly. So these deals, the negotiation parts of them can be ongoing and can take a while. But if there is a willingness to get these deals done, if there is a willingness to sell, and if the party that is selling, in this case, the Glazers, or in that case, WWE, want to get the deal done, they can. So I think that's where it comes from. Previously when they said, oh yeah, by the end of April, yes, it can get done. Or when you hear these journalists say, wow, if there's a desire to get it done, it can be done quickly. I think that's what they mean, whereby if there is a legitimate desire to get it done and desire to sell, it can be done fairly quickly. But as of right now, we're still in that stage whereby, they're still looking for the best price and they're still looking to negotiate. And when you've got still this big disparity between what people are willing to pay and what people are willing to sell for, it's going to take time and it's going to be ongoing, especially when, in this case, there still are multiple options on the table. 2 willing to outright purchase everything. Well, Sheikh Jassim looking to purchase everything, and then Jim Ratcliffe looking to purchase the majority, and then these minority ones are still an option. And ultimately, you've got the Glazers where they still don't even know what they want to do. You know, you've got 6 people there, and they're split on whether they actually want to sell it completely
Still
or
like,
not.
oh,
And whilst
shouldn't we?
that's ongoing, whilst there isn't unity in the 6 principal owners of the organization, when is it even going to get done? Let's be honest. Because they've all got to be on the same board. They've all got to be on the same page when it comes to it.
Yeah, it's a really complex situation, and that's why So when you ask me where am I at with it, it's like I'm at a pause it, park it, put it over there for now, because that's where we are. You know, the negotiations are carrying on, and I think someone said jokingly there, the NDAs are NDA, and I think we are getting into that territory now where it's like people don't talk now about what's going to happen. I think that the big outlets will get something big when there is actually a development. You know, that's why it's gone so quiet. There hasn't even been things like today, really, where the Mirror have gone with, they're finally, able to, negotiate now, ready to negotiate. Even that, it's like they're kind of, this whole thing's been negotiating, isn't it? And they just, and lack of. So what you're not getting is big outlets all flocking in like they were a month ago, plus a month, 2 months ago, where every day it was something different.
If they'd have heard something, Sheikh Jassim or Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I know technically they're not allowed to talk about it, but if they'd have heard back, someone would have told some journalists, oh, they've heard back. You know, the real latest was they're still waiting to hear, or they hope by the end of the week they're going to hear something from the Rain Group. I think my prediction is that the Glazers and Rain, they're still trying to figure out what this next part of it's going to be. Again, is the next part of it going to be, as Mirror are saying, where it's, okay, we're negotiating, or is the next part going to be come back with another bid? We're still not sure about it. And they're still trying to figure out what that's going to be.
Exactly. Nicholas Maxwell says, good Jamaican family time, 100%. Will be having that later on. And that's Cabs, who's been a member for 1 month. Thanks for the super chat. Cabs says, good morning, Flex and Owen. How many signings do you think we will get next season? For me, I think we can get Ivan, Tony, Frimpong, and Mac Allister. Hold that thought. We're going to come straight back to that, Cabs. And Palmeria says, wake and bake with the UV fam on bank holiday. Early morning walk settings. Big up, everyone. Hoping we smash Everton this weekend.
I love an early morning walk.
Early morning walk. Brisk. I never do it, but
they are brilliant. If
when
you
I have
get
done
yourself,
years ago, it's quite fresh.
If you can get yourself out of bed, like, I mean, an early time, I'm talking like 7 in the morning or something, maybe even earlier. Like sometimes if you're a really early riser, like 6, and there's no one really about, but at this time of the year, the sun's already up. It's a decent temperature. It's not too hot, but it's decent temperature. It is lovely. It is very, very nice. I would recommend it. It's a great way to start the day. You feel energized. You feel refreshed.
A lot of people do go for walks. Yeah, a lot of people do go for walks. Hansen says, good morning, everybody. Been a member for 9 months as well. Big up
9
to
months.
Hansen.
Oh,
9 months, mate. That's got to be, is that the longest serve? Is that the highest?
Well, the original member was Star-Lord. I remember that. That was the first
Star-Lord, yes. Yeah. Yes, big up Star-Lord, one of the originals. Let's read out some of the members' chats, actually, because remember, when you do join the UV membership, you do get the priority chat as well. Wizard says, the new bidders only need to pay what the Glazers put in and pay the debts that's around 1 to 1.5 billion to buy United. Cab says, smash the like, people. Let's get to 400 likes, please. 100%. Paul Lucas says, we heard the debt was about 500 million, but now we know it's really double that. Palmeiras is just bigging up Lux Hill, because Lux Hill is always in the chat, always being a dictator, getting us, letting us know what to do, where to be. He said super chats and members chats, siren, you know what I'm saying? So also big up to the mods as well, because not only have we got amazing members, we've got amazing mods as well, who will always, the show gets busy, the news keeps coming in, the comments keep coming in, but they even help us kind of produce the show, really. They're like producers. Don't forget about the chat, don't forget about the super chats, etc.
Better that than Josh screaming in your ear. Much better.
100%, exactly.
Super
chat. Now, Splashnet says this could drag on through the summer. 100% agree with that. And Lux also says, I've been patient. Taking time is fine. Taking forever is different. Just want the Glazers to sell now. And big up to a load of other members who are here. I can see Kyle in the chat, Tina, Chris, Paul Lucas, Grim, Northwest, G-Man, Nikhil, and Mike, big up to you. Who else we got? I said Kyle already. Lewis Jackson, Joe Blackman. A lot of members in the chat today, which is brilliant.
We had a
Satchiv.
Q&A the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. We did.
That was
and that
a
was
lot
really
of fun.
good.
That was a lot of fun.
Exactly. That's coming again next week as well.
Yeah.
And Divas as well. So yes, and Kristen is there as well. So big up all the members. Drop your emojis. C Young is in there. Daniela is in there as well. Loads of them. Shavden. Loads. Crafty Skills as well. So the members are membering right now. Big up to you guys.
Yeah.
Let me get that super chat off the screen. Luke Shaw, there was a little. Oh, we're bare. Where have we gone? Where have we gone?
Look at him.
Sorry, I was looking at the thing as well at the same time. Luke Shaw, there was a little bit of an update from Erik ten Hag to suggest that the injury wasn't as bad as first feared. However, I was listening to you when you're like, don't listen to him. Basically, Eric lies about injuries.
Injuries with Ten Hag. Basically, he doesn't say what they are. He just will refuse. I mean, there's a press conference there at 12:30, so I'm going to be live about 1 o'clock, and I'm sure he'll get asked about Luke Shaw and the injury. Is it a hamstring injury? Yes, he's injured. So it is a hamstring injury. We're not sure when he's going to be back. Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. That's just Anthony Martial, how many times has he been out this season? I can only recall maybe once or twice he actually said what the injury was.
One was a hip. I think that was after Everton.
Yeah.
When he had to come off. I think
one was his back, and that was just because he came off holding his back.
Yeah.
So we knew it was his back. Apart from that, no, that's just we don't know. But
yeah. Just really. Oh, actually, sorry, because Lee Chappie's there. He said, "Good morning, lads. With Leicester potentially going down, who would you take and why?" We'll answer that question in a minute. And that other super chat of asking how many signings do you think? Get in the summer. Don't forget that. But Luke Shaw, we'll do Luke Shaw, and then we'll do those two.
Yes, so this came from the Times saying that Manchester United have received some good news after the muscle injury that forced Luke Shaw off against Brentford was deemed not to be serious. It is understood that Luke Shaw's substitution against Brentford was made as a precaution and that after further tests, United staff do not regard the problem as serious. So Shaw will not be out for long, which again is positive, although I think the prediction previously stating that he probably won't play against Everton tomorrow is still pretty valid. Because again, it's probably just a bit too soon, but it's a good thing that he won't be out of action for too long.
Yeah, that is a really good thing. Just as he signed his new contract, he was actually playing really well in that game, and you just look in any position, especially at left back as well. But in any position, you just don't really want the starter or the senior player just popping down with a long term. We've been riddled with that quite a bit this season, up front, in midfield. So if Luke Shaw was to get a long-term injury and we had to rely on just Malacia, that's an issue. There's a reason why Erik ten Hag is using him the way that he has, if Malacia, which is coming in at the right times, giving Luke Shaw the rest where he needed, start a few in a row, then come out. I think it's been a perfect breakthrough season for Malacia so far. There's still many games to play, and he's still going to make some more appearances. Obviously, he's going to play tomorrow. But I think in general, he's played in some really big games for us. I think he's been taken out of the game, of the team, and at the right times as well. He's been put back in at the right times. So that's exactly what you want for a young, up-and-coming breakthrough. Show a lot of faith where they're good enough, but also show, some patience with them where you think they've still got time to grow, because he absolutely does. Latest member is Joe Blackman. Big up Joe Blackman. I think Joe Blackman said, "I'm actually not a member, but I'm always here." Was it Joe Blackman who said that?
I think you might have.
It was. And then Joe's gone, "Do you know what? I'm just going to become an official member." Joe, even if you didn't do that, 100, he took the plunge, exactly. Even if you didn't do that, bro, like you said, you are always here. So you are a member in our eyes, regardless whether you have the badge, the name, etc. But you are now an official member. So everyone, welcome Joe Blackman to the members club. Back to those two questions that we've got asked.
By the way, just before we get to those questions, VK's done a madness as well. I don't know if you've seen that.
No. Right, hang on. VK's done a madness. Big up VK's gifted 5 memberships. Let's go through and see who they are. They have been given to Paul Lucas, Daniela, Arthur, Marie, and Steve. Big up to VK gifting 5 memberships, man. VK, and I think it was Vicky as well, Witterbird. They just did an absolute crazy madness. And there was someone else who was just doing a madness. I can't remember the name of who was it again? someone will put it in the chat. Someone will remember. Remember, someone done like 60 in one day.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah, someone
But I
will put
remember
that
that.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Someone put it in the chat, whoever it was. Oh, there's Vicky. Yeah, there as well, as usual. Well done, VK. Big up to you guys as well.
Bama.
And Barmer,
Yes.
yes, Barmer. Yes, it was. Big up, SJ. Right. So the first question was super chat earlier on, and it was from Cabs. Good morning, Flex and Owen. How many signings do you guys think we can get next season? For me, I think we can get Ivan Toney, Frimpong, and Mac Allister. So he's saying 3. But how many signings do you think we can get in the summer? How many did we get this year? 6, including
There's a lot of variables, I think, on this. One is obviously the takeover situation. 2, how many players do we get rid of? That's a part of it as well. So we're saying striker, definitely
Yes.
striker.
Yeah.
Midfielder, definitely.
Yeah.
Possibly we're saying another striker as well.
Forward. Yeah.
Forward.
Forward. Keeper. Could it be a keeper? Will we get a keeper this summer?
I think we're also saying centre back, because I think we'll get rid of at least one.
Yeah.
And then you're saying goalkeeper.
Would we get a goalkeeper? Can you see it? In any way, shape, or form, like a young one to come in, and it's going to be pushed ahead.
You know what? Okay, I'll concede to that. Angel like that. Concede goalkeeper. I think that we will get a goalkeeper, but I don't think it will necessarily be this starting goalkeeper that people are looking for, shall we say? Because Butland's on loan, and they might just go, "Oh, we'll keep Jack Butland there," but we're still going through trying to find backup goalkeepers, aren't we? So I think we might get another one. I'm going to go with 5. Like VK with the memberships, I'm going with 5 Booker T settings.
Yeah. I think that's a safe number. I think it's a sensible number, because I think out of that 5, 2 can be like stellar, maybe like the 2, like the striker and the midfielder can be the gems, and then I think you get some good quality squad depth around the other 2. The other 3 positions. I think 5. I think 5. I think the keeper one is interesting because, David Raya hasn't signed a contract. He needs to leave Brentford at the end of the season. And he's available for like 40 million.
Decent price, yeah.
It'll be decent price. Are you going to get someone who could potentially be Man United's next number 1, which obviously a lot of people have made him out to be? And if he ever was to be our number 1, I wouldn't be 100% against it. I think he's a good keeper. Could you get him for 40 keeper like that for 40 million anytime soon? If you look around, you might. There could be someone that, obviously you get the fashion stuff in it. So you get what's in the fashion. So what's in fashion for Man United is Osimhen, Kane, maybe Vlahovic, not so much so, but it's David Raya, Diogo Costa should be the one. It's the same sort of online stuff. No. I think I even said the other. Remember the last time we spoke about Frankie? I went, you know what? If there's a chance we could get him, he's that good. I was like, you know what? Just get. But now I've changed my mind already from that already. No, he wants to stay. He don't want to come here, man. Let's just move on.
He doesn't want to. But what if he has to?
Then that's what I thought it was last year, and it weren't that. No.
What if their financial situation's even worse than last year?
But we thought it was as bad as it could ever get, and they found a way.
What if Laporte's pulling all these levers and nothing's happening?
Then
they're just levers in the end. They went, oh, he's doing that,
and nothing's happening. No,
he's like a slot machine that's unplugged. There's nothing happening. No cash is coming out of it.
I just can't see it. I'm so annoyed and angry and scarred after the last time. Them slimy, mate, they were paying the refs and they're still just there. Like, I just know. Like,
could you imagine?
It ain't happening.
They had financial issues and they found the money to pay referees. Disgrace cheat.
That's probably why they're in the financial rooms out doing that. Someone makes a good point here actually, and Sabitzer was on topic today. Would count Sabitzer in that 5 ? And possibly Weghorst ? Because Sabitzer potentially, Eric Ten Hag looks like he wants to keep him. Some
Yeah,
people are
and
saying he's starting to show a little bit of promise. He's starting to settle down a little bit. I mean, it is hard with Sabitzer because I know he is a good player. I think he's a decent player, and actually, he can be a useful squad player. I don't mind him
he's
being
an
in the
option.
squad. He's definitely an option. And we haven't seen the best of him yet because he's trying to come into a struggling midfield. He's playing with Fred. He's playing with McTominay. He played one with Casemiro. You know what I mean? It's just changing every time. So, and arguably, you could argue that his whole Man United time, even if he stays here, could be like that, where he's a utility guy. So
Imagine
I don't
we
think
didn't
he's ever
sign
going to
him.
be.
Imagine we didn't get him in January. Imagine in January we hadn't got him on loan.
Exactly. And he hasn't even been amazing. He's just been available for most part of it, and with a couple of, you know what I mean, with a couple of niggly where he couldn't play a couple of times as well. He's had a couple of injuries, but
you go like, how good's he been? You go, he's been available most of the time.
That's the same with Veghorst as well. Do you know what I mean?
Would you keep Wout?
Nah, I wouldn't.
Not even as third choice.
Nah, I said I would for a period, like halfway into that, when he started like 19 games in a row, whatever it was.
Carabao Cup.
I was like, do you know what? I could keep him as like a third or fourth choice, but no, I just think, me personally, I just think it sets the wrong tone. I don't want to be carrying anyone. I don't want anyone here just because they try really hard and stuff like that. I do want that ruthlessness back in terms of, are you good enough? If you're not good enough, you can't come here. And that's the ruthlessness I want. I know it sounds harsh. I really like him as a person, and as a professional. His attitude, everything he lacks in, he tries to make up in all the other things that he can do well, which is press and run around. And Eric Ten Hag saying that in them games that he played, we won a lot of games with him playing, which is true. We went away to the Nou Camp without Veghorst up front. How crazy that is.
He's a 10.
As a 10, that the streets won't forget. The streets won't forget, bro. At the end of the season, if we do something brilliant and we win the Europa League, but he does deserve his flowers. Gets an assist in the Carabao Cup final. You impacted the game, son. And if we get to the final of the Europa League and win it or whatever, he would have played his part. So actually, I think for his cameo bit that he's been here, fair play to him. He deserves his flowers, but that doesn't mean we should sign him permanently.
Yeah, I think back to what Sabi said when we spoke to him in January, and he literally said, look, he'll go to hell for you. He'll put everything in. He's a great professional. Is he good enough? I don't think he's good enough.
And that was that was him assessing it off teams that are kind of his level, like,
and watching him for the national team as well, and sort of saying, he can maybe offer you something. Right. Good professional, great mentality. Is he good enough? Probably not. And that's factually accurate. And as I said, it's difficult to judge Veghorst because you do have to judge him on a different curve, I think, because you have to understand what he is and why he's even at United in the first place. You go, he's at United because Ronaldo left, Martial was injured, and we've got no money. That resulted in getting Wout Weghorst on a loan, cancelling a loan from Besiktas, getting him on loan from Burnley for $3 million in January.
We never would have done that ever.
I still see people today going, why did we not get João Felix in January? And I look at that and go, because we couldn't afford him, because we've got no money. How can you on one hand go, we're £1 billion in debt, going, why don't we just get João Felix in January, whereby it was a massive loan fee, big wages, and he's only going to stay past the end of the season. I mean, I still look at that and they go, but he's doing well at Chelsea. Well, that's great. They can spend a load of money. They can spend all that money and still be 11th in the league. And, talking to Frank, and they need to with some of the spending that they're doing, Flex. It's crazy. So, of course, in an ideal world, we got João Felix in January. We couldn't afford it. So we end up without Veghorst instead. And honestly, you get what you pay for. That's the situation.
You do. Gary Smith has just become a member, latest member of the UV club. Big up to you, Gary Smith. And this is going to be interesting. This is a two-parter from Biggie Third. He says, guys, what is Bruno's position on the pitch? What eight's Bruno's position on the pitch? As in, why does he play in the 8? Or just is it a typo of what is Bruno's position on the pitch? We'll go with what is Bruno's position best.
I think it is because the I is close to the number 8 on the key.
Right, it is, yeah. Okay, what is Bruno's best position on the pitch? What is he supposed to bring to the team? I have a follow-up question. Okay, so this is a two-parter. I'll go first and then you go. In my position, Bruno's best position on the pitch is behind the striker in the number 10. What does he bring to the team? He brings assists. He brings goals. as a goal scoring midfielder. He brings chance creation, and he brings leadership. I'll give him that. I think he brings leadership as well. How would you answer that question?
Best position on the pitch, as a 10. But I prefer it, and I think we've seen his best success as a 10, where he's more of a shadow striker as opposed to a bit of
really
a
high
10,
forward.
if that makes sense. Basically, he plays up front, but he's not a number 9. That's like when he scored all of those goals for United, he was essentially a striker. That is Bruno at his effective best, goals and assists. When he gets as he gets progressively more deeper, he gets less effective.
Although Ten Hag said, again, it's not the first time, he said after that game, and I was looking back at the quotes, actually, because, when you get back late, I don't always look at the quotes and what he says. He says Bruno was the best player on the pitch by far. Again. And he keeps playing him deep.
His players. Eric Ten Hag will back his players. He was saying the same about their course, saying, when that's on the pitch, we play better. You know? And you sort of do go, well, Eric, that's because you don't have a lot of options. So Wout is always on the pitch.
Yeah.
And, but Bruno played well. He's just one of those players that the more he's involved, he's going to play better, and he'll bless you, and he'll try and get involved as much as possible, and that's sometimes to his detriment, isn't it? Because even as an 8, if he's not as involved in the game, he starts chasing it, and we've seen that. Even if he's having a bad game, if you notice, if Bruno's having a bad game and he's misplacing passes, he'll go flying after the ball, be like, okay, I've got to get on the ball, I've got to redeem myself, and sometimes that can sort of drag himself out of position. But I would say as a 10, right off the striker, that's Bruno's best position.
I agree. I was looking for the second part because we are in massive suspense, but I can't see the second part to the question from Big Third. I'm even looking in the regular comments. So if someone sees it, let me know. There was a question. Oh, just quickly from Lee Chappie, obviously big Leicester fan. Obviously with Leicester looking like they may go down and just in big trouble. Who would you take? Big trouble.
Honestly, I was looking through their squad when he said that. And it's actually not that surprising that they're lower down in the league, honestly. And I feel bad for them and Leicester fans purely because to an extent, I feel bad for Brendan Rodgers because you have to remember the summer they had. They bought nobody, basically. They sold their defender, Fofana, and then they replaced him with someone that's nowhere near as good. And their squad, I'm just looking through there. It's not that. You would even say, Tielemans is going to go on a free. Maybe it's Maddison, isn't it? It's James Maddison. That's it.
Yeah,
you'd have James Maddison.
Even Ndidi covers Casemiro. Even when Ndidi was you guys know what I feel about certain centre mids. When we say they're amazing and it is, I never even saw the gas. Even when he was in that little pump, when he was doing decent, I didn't think he was that good. I didn't. I just thought he was okay. I thought he was a good player for Leicester level, and that's no disrespect. But I just thought he was okay. I didn't think he was amazing. And now he's definitely done, with that big injury that he had. He has come back. He hasn't really been the same, has he? Tielemans, same thing. Squad player, I'll take him as a squad player, Tielemans, I suppose. But he's not mobile.
His stock's dropped a lot, hasn't it?
Stock's dropped. Obviously, he's going to go on a free anyway, though. Would you take him on a free? Would you take Yuri Tielemans on a free in the squad? You take him
technically good player. I think there is a bit of concern about maybe work rate. That's what I mean. My thing.
And he's just not mobile. He can't get about the pitch. He can't run. He runs with a parachute on his back. He can't get about.
Exactly.
Can't get about the pitch. Not for me.
It's Maddison. Madison's the one which I think anyone in the Premier League will go after.
Yeah. Harvey Barnes, no, too wasteful. Ian Acho, Dakar, no.
Do you remember last summer when there was a day that we were linked to Jamie Vardy again?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Imagine we don't get a striker and it's we'll have Vardy for a season. And then next summer, we'll do that again. When we go, we've got him for a season. Next summer, we're going big for a striker. It starts off at Osimhen, Kane, ends up at Vardy. For one season, Fleck.
I know. Smash a like on the video, guys. Don't be a disgrace and cheat. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Just as we were on Sabitzer, earlier on today, I saw Peter Linden said Sabitzer would like to stay beyond the end of his loan deal, something his agent, Roger Whitman, has assured is the case. Sabitzer has made himself hot stock thanks to his performances for Manchester United since his arrival. He's made himself hot stock. Hot stock. Wouldn't go that far, but on the base on him, would you be looking to make that permanent? What would he cost? What, 15, 20 million would he cost? Something like that?
Well, that was the rumor, wasn't it? Is that there's nothing put into that deal that you can just activate or anything like that. But it was quite widely reported that Bayern weren't looking for a massive amount for him, and by all account, he's happy. He's playing more games than he was at Bayern Munich. Of course, he was coming on as a substitute really for Bayern Munich, and he started a few games. And that, to your point, I don't think he's really properly integrated himself into the squad and team yet, whereby the best squad's always been available. Because remember, the only reason he came on is because Eriksen was injured. So he's never been in the squad with Christian Eriksen. So that's going to be interesting. Once Casemiro's back, once Eriksen's back, how Sabitzer fits into all of that's going to be interesting. But also at the same time, just having that full strength midfield and then being able to look to the bench and be like, yep, Sabitzer's there, or Sabitzer can play alongside Casemiro if you just need a bit more bite, or Sabitzer can play. Casemiro starting every game. It's not even just Casemiro, Sabitzer and Eriksen. If Casemiro gets sent off again, then maybe we might need Sabitzer and Eriksen, something like that. But I'd take him. Of course you would, as long as the price is decent.
Yes, the poll is up. The poll is up, and the early front runner is yes, 80%. So get your votes in. Should United sign Sabitzer on a permanent? Yeah, I think it can make sense, as long as, what my only issue would be is that, would the Glazers, if they're still here by then, go, we can secure him for relatively low money, so we don't need another midfielder. We don't need to spend big on I know Jude Bellingham's one of the dreams, but you know what I mean, like a star marquee, like top midfielder. I wouldn't want us to sign him and go, well, Eriksen's back now, still with Casemiro. You add Sabitzer into that, we're looking all right. No, like we need to do Sabitzer, and we need another, like a proper, because I think McTominay will go potentially. So for him, we have to still spend. So as long as it didn't hinder that, because the stinky Glazers, you just never know. Do you know what I mean? The cost cutting. I just, as long as they're here and there's a bit of uncertainty, I just worry that could be a thing. But just off the base value of would Sabitzer be good in our squad for 20 million quid with that good value? Absolutely. I think as players come back as well, like you said, as the team develops, and we will buy more players next year, it'll be good for him to have a pre-season and just make a home for himself as well. He can move over here properly, buy a house, settle down, knowing that he's got that. What would he get? He'll probably get a 3-year deal with a +1 or something like that. He just can be more comfortable, and then he can really, because some people, they forget how difficult it is to come mid-season, what you got to contend with. You're living in a rented apartment or, high up on floor, wherever, just to get by, because you're not sure how long you're going to be here for. You might be living in a hotel. You're with your family, or I don't know if he's got kids or family or whatever.
Sometimes
but
you're not.
Tough.
Sometimes you're not. You're away for 6 months, and then you're kind of going to come back. Some people, when they go out on loan, they go, "Yeah, I'm just going to go away for 6 months, and I'm going to come back."
Exactly. He's literally still, got his house. Yeah, wherever he's living in Bayern will be his home. That will still be there. So he would have a lot to sort out. So I think, and all in that meantime, he's just got to focus on trying to play football and then see how it goes. It's really difficult. So I think we can see a lot more from him next season if we were to sign him. And I think that although I wouldn't say he's now hot stock, I would say that he has hot stock and 2 smoking barrels. I wouldn't say he's hot like that, but I would say he started to show a few signs that, for 20 million quid, I think that'll be decent for the squad. Definitely for the squad.
Who would you say is hot stock?
What, in our team? Or just Martinez?
Or just in our team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
What do you define as hot stock?
Hot stock's like they're the gravy. They are the mustard. They're the creme de la creme. They are the top draw players. Hot stock, mate. That's what Saka, Rashford, Odegaard, flipping who else? Haaland. This season, who else has been really good? Gabriel's been really good. Who else has been really good?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane. 22 goals he scored in the Prem. I
know
he takes the pens.
Harry Kane. And it's what I've been saying with Harry Kane. I think for the last something
Matoma,
like
hot stock.
Hot stock. Hot stock that needs a button.
Yeah.
For the last something like 7 or 8 seasons, Harry Kane has scored 20+ goals in the Premier League. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, of course. What's he got? 205? I think he got 205 Premier League goals.
He's not that good. No, he's not that good. Flex.
Yeah, it's just wild. It's wild. Harry Kane is.
Ollie Watkins, hot stock? Question.
In this little bit, he has been. In this little period, he's been quite good. Not over the whole season. Category? Nah.
I say
Ivan
no.
Toney. Ivan Toney this year has.
Hot stock.
Hot stock. Ivan Toney. Alexis Mac Allister has been hot stock. He's been
hot
really
stock.
Good. Yeah. Who else has been really good this season?
Put the players in the chat.
Paulinho at Fulham. He's been really good this season.
Is he hot stock though?
Yeah, I think he is. I think you got to say he's been really good, man.
Falls into the category of hot stock.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so. Put in the chat. Is Paulinho hot stock? This is just fun now. Let's just have a bit of fun. Hot stock. He is. He's been good, man. I'm saying yes.
I tell you who's hot stock. He's not a player. Unai Emery. Hot stock.
Yes. Yeah.
You've seen the job he's been doing with Aston Villa.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
From 16th to 7th.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy. Mitrovic, people are saying. Bruno Guimaraes.
Hot stock.
Hot stock. Even though I don't really like him because everyone just says he's better than the real Bruno, but he is good.
Lil Yo-Yo says Evan Ferguson. Hot stock.
Hot stock. I tell you what, that's a good one. Solly March has been wicked this year. We're just judging it off of this year. Who's hot stock? He's hot stock this year.
Because that's hot stock implies it's kind of current this season.
It's current. It's now. Yeah. You have to the OXO cube. You have to use it now. You can't let it cool down. It's hot stock.
From a Wall Street kind of like perception, you know, when you go on those like financial programs, they got the ticker everywhere and they've got the arrows and the graphs or whatever. They go Solly March. It'd be like, and the big thing would go hot stock.
Yeah, 100%. Hot stock's the new one.
Hot stock.
Random. Hot stock's really got Owen. He loves it. Joe Blackman, latest moment of it. Gary Smith, big up to you. Another member of the United View just joined today. Nicholas says, you lot need to know your facts before chatting. Barca ref case has been deemed fake. The league president is just against them, says Nicholas. Okay, fair enough. If it's fake, it's fake. I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen anything
from Catalonia. So
yes, obviously defending all of your financial levers that were being pulled because of stuff you were doing wrong. But it is what it is. My issue. There you go.
Hot stock.
Yeah. Biggie the Third does come through with the follow-up. Says my issue with him is that he doesn't score. That is if he doesn't score or assist, he doesn't bring much more to the team for me. He doesn't dictate the tempo like Odegaard. He loses the ball way too much for a midfielder. I can see some of your concerns there. That's true. If he doesn't score or assist, he doesn't dictate the game like Odegaard. Look, even if he does score and assist, he doesn't dictate the game like Odegaard. Why? Because that's not Bruno's game. He's not good at that. That's not what he does. That's not how, what he does. But what he does do, though, is if you look at his chance creation, because chance creation is real. I know stats can, skewer things and they can be used to make any argument. And I am using it now, to be honest. This is an example of that. But I will be honest. He does create a lot of chances. He does. And you only do that if you impact the game on a consistent basis. And I think Bruno although for all his deficiencies, I think what is really good about Bruno is that he does find a way to impact the game somehow.
Bruno and Odegaard to be different players.
Completely different players.
I think they're different style of players. Odegaard, like you said, I think is one of the best in the league at dictating tempo. I think he is so comfortable on the ball. It's frightening sometimes.
If not the
glides. Yeah. I think Bruno is a bit more rough around the edges, shall we say, with some of the things he does. Bruno's not as, let's say, silky as Odegaard, but you forget, like, Bruno's had seasons where he scored like 20 goals. It's crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, they're different players.
Yeah, agreed. I do think that. But I do understand, like, that's why I don't really want Bruno playing too deep. I know it works when he's got time on the ball and stuff. Like against Brentford, it worked again. Against Betis, it worked. So there's certain games, and I think I just want to trust Erik ten Hag to choose the right times to do it. And I understand he's doing it because there is no Casemiro and there is no Eriksen. So I understand why he's doing it. I don't think we'll see that next season, and I don't think we'll see it too much when Eriksen comes back as well. So I understand that, but I think there's enough evidence there of like when you play against proper central midfielders, when you play against teams that put you under the cosh, Bruno can't be anywhere near the six.
And they're different kind of captains as well, really. I mean,
completely.
And a method of captaincy is a lot different to say Bruno's. You know what I mean? Again, Odegaard's is maybe more. Again, I just their personality and playing types almost reflect themselves. Bruno is quite, I said, rough around the edges, a bit maybe louder, a bit more in your face, whereas Odegaard's is more silky. I think again, I'm a big fan of Odegaard. I think he's a really good player. Starting to live up to the hype. I think he's an excellent captain as well.
Yeah, he is, and he's captain for Norway as well.
He's hot stock.
Yeah, he is hot stock, very hot stock. Lil Yo says Marcel would take Danny Ward and Daniel Everson over David De Gea.
Danny Ward, look, I want to be nice. I want to be nice, but I'm not going to say anything then.
I was thinking, where are you going with this then? So what are you going to say then? Oh, that was funny. The Reckless One says flex spamming through balls can also be a reason for high creation count. No, basically saying because Bruno that's all he does is spam the ball, try. I suppose you could say that, but I would put it down to more than just spamming through balls because it's a consistent thing for him. Since he's come, he's always been our chief creator, and he's done that when the team was worse off, when it was all on him. And when Bruno first came in, it was just all on him.
Yeah.
Literally,
forget. Talk about January signings. January signings. He came in and we weren't getting top 4. And obviously then the break happened with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, Project Restart. And even then, he came back. He was basically the reason that we got top 4 and a global pandemic that season.
And Leicester obviously capitulated as well. But still,
absolutely. Still, the point being is that...
And we beat Leicester as well, I remember that.
Yeah, his influence since he's come in, he can't be overlooked. Sometimes we don't really realize what we've got, until he's not there. When he didn't play against Aston Villa this season, we were crap and we missed him proper.
Yeah, exactly. Good show. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Big up to everyone celebrating Good Friday today with the family. I've got the family coming around today. I can hear the music downstairs, the reggae, everything nice already. It's good. I need to go cut up some onions and some peppers and some garlics, and I've got to get my hands dirty now. I've got to get into it.
Oh, good. I've hidden several Easter eggs around my flat, and I'm going to try and find them myself.
Try and remember where you put them.
Yeah, and go. Where did I put them? I'm going to open a cupboard and go. Oh yeah, there you go. And then
I will be doing that on Sunday as well. I've got my nieces coming to see me, come to visit, so I've got to go take them out in the garden and around whatever. I used to love it. I used to love an Easter egg hunt. Yes, and the planting, Jason. Yes, I've got to slice up all the planting as well. I've got a lot to do today. Very, very, very busy. Very, very busy. But I love family. I love the family coming.
Planting? What's that?
A banana, Owen. It's just a banana.
I thought it was referred to as plantain.
No, don't say that. It is by some people. But that's a disgrace in a cheater's plant.
But you can have like crisps that are like that, aren't they? They're sort of
plantain chips.
Plantain. Wow.
It depends which one you do call it, but you can call them plantain chips.
I knew that.
Plantain is a disgusting. But the only way it's not a banana, but it
looks like it.
I was just saying
they're big. They're big. I'm going to be live for a press conference at 1 o'clock as well.
Yeah. Owen's going to be live for the press conference. So, yeah. Make sure you guys do that. And John says, I think someone says, are UV going to be in Vegas?
Viva Las Vegas! Can you imagine KG dressed up as Elvis?
Oh, Jesus Christ! Can you imagine even taking him to Vegas? Oh my God!
No, that's bad.
Hangover. Thumbnails, hangover settings.
I'll be the one left on the roof.
Hangover settings, man. Oh,
pick up the phone. We've lost Owen. Wow,
Anyway, guys, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Have a great day. We'll see you in the afternoon for the presser as well. Oh, just quickly, we kind of skipped over the fact that Martial ain't gonna start. Ten Hag kind of said, he's just not in a position to start yet, and we have to be really, really careful. He basically suggested he ain't gonna start again.
Same forward line then against Brentford. No Beggy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Peace.